Hey, beautiful people. I'm Janita.
And I'm Derek. And if you guys are new to this channel, make sure you ask your questions down below. Comment. We want to interact with you. We're here to answer your questions, hence the name Ask the Bennett. So make sure you hit that red subscribe button, click the notification bell icon to get notified of every single time we post.
Oh! Yeah. And remember to love, laugh, and live. Babe, we have another question. And this week's question is, what do you do when your fiance doesn't like your friends? Didn't invite them to the surprise engagement party? Should you still marry him? Or is this the beginning of the end? Is this a bad foundation?
Yeah, that is a packed question.
That is a packed question.
I don't know, what do you think?
So I would have to say, now, if it was indeed an engagement and it was quiet and no one was invited, I can see that. Mm-hmm. Now, if it was a more intimate engagement and he just or she just invited her parents and his parents, okay, I can see that. But if it was indeed a surprise engagement party, mm-hmm. and all of his friends were there and none of her friends were there, or vice versa,
right,
that would be an issue for me. You know, if you planned a surprise engagement party and you had all of your friends there and you didn't invite any of my friends, especially if these are my girls in my circle.
So I guess it depends on the level of friendship, I guess, or the quality of the friend. If your spouse doesn't think they're a good cutout for you,
well, they're not even a spouse yet.
Well, not spouse, but whoever you're with, mm-hmm. Doesn't think that they're a good cutout for you, or they're a bad influence on you. That's a completely different story. Now, if they just don't like them, just because they just don't like them, then that person has to look within themselves and figure out what's going on with them, or why they don't like this person, or whoever you're friends with. I mean, it could be a deeper situation as well, because you have to figure out and dig deep in, mm-hmm. Ask them, mm-hmm. what is it about my friends you don't like? Are they being straight up with you and mm-hmm. saying, hey, I don't like your friends? It's completely different of them saying that versus them acting a certain way, or just not inviting them to
right.
An event, right. or something like that. So,
right.
or you just assuming that they don't like my friends because they didn't invite them to this mm-hmm. place.
Mm-hmm.
It could be something completely different. Mm-hmm. I always try to look at the benefit of the doubt. So it may be something else that they're not telling you, he or she is not telling you. I would think it's important to sit down and have that conversation. What is it about my friends you don't like? Especially if you value your friend's friendship.
Right.
Right. And it means a lot to you, and it means just that much for them to be at whatever event, right. or just if they're very, very close friends, and it means a lot for you for them to be there. Then it becomes a situation that you guys should sit down and talk about.
Right, and that's what I was going to incorporate, because 9 times out of 10, you already know what, if you've been dating long enough, or mm-hmm. even if you've paid attention, you would know how much the person, say if it's in our shoes,
right.
you already know who's very important to me.
Right.
So if you decided to propose to me, and you had all of your friends there, mm-hmm. and you didn't have mine there, you would know already that would be a problem, because my friends, are my friends. I mean, everybody has acquaintances. So like he said, you should sit down, discuss it, or even just in small talk. And even you knew you were going to propose at some point. So those are very, very important conversations to bring
Absolutely.
up, to see really how important is this person to my spouse.
Like you said, if you put it in our case, I know some of your friends mean a whole lot to you.
Right.
It's not just a regular friendship. Like
right.
I said before, it goes deeper than
right.
that. So I should know that beforehand, who's closer to you. And in later episodes, we'll be talking about, deal breakers. And is this one of the deal breakers? We have several of them that we're going to go over and talk about and discuss.
Right, because I have to be honest, I would be very upset if you had done a surprise engagement
party, yeah.
and you had all your friends there, and then none of my friends was there.
Yeah.
I probably have about 4 or 5 very close friends, and my best friend, if you did not have them there,
that I know of,
that
I know of, yeah. And that's the other thing. You should be aware of who their friend. I should be aware of who her close friends are. Mm-hmm. She should be aware
mm-hmm.
of who my close
mm-hmm.
friends are. That's just something that needs to be discussed,
mm-hmm.
or you just need to know about
mm-hmm.
each other, because at the end of the day, is that a deal breaker? Is that going to be enough to say, if you don't like my friends, we can't do this. Or if you don't like my family, even, that's a whole nother question. We can't do this. Sometimes friends are even closer than family. So that's another option, you know, or another situation.
So what do we need to do, babe? What do they need to do? Prior to getting ready to propose, you need to have some form of a conversation with your fiance to say, hey, you know, I know that you and Trina, you know, I see y'all hanging out, y'all real close, and you don't want to go shopping with her, or you call her and ask her, should you wear the blue top with the red bottom? You know, do you really feel like she's really your friend? Because these are the things that I see about Trina. Trina really not cool. I know some things that she said, but sit down and talk so that you will know, do I really need to invite this person to?
Right, but that goes back to my point. I mean, are you just being petty and you just don't like somebody just because, you know, or do you really have a valid reason of why these people shouldn't be their friend or why you dislike them? That conversation needs to be had. It doesn't need to be something that's looked over or just swept under the rug, because that can be a serious situation. I mean, you're asking us this question now, so it's seemingly a serious situation or a deal breaker for you. So that's a conversation that you guys need to sit down and have. To me, I believe, and you just need to be self-aware about how much it means to you. If it's a deal breaker, it's a deal breaker.
Because it definitely could be a deal breaker.
Absolutely.
Because if it were my friends, I would be like,
it could be a deal breaker. Right, absolutely.
Not just because you don't like her because you think she's too loud and too ghetto.
Right, exactly what I mean.
So anyways, guys, hopefully you gained something from out of that. What we're actually saying is sit down. Communication is the key.
Absolutely.
To sit down and talk to, because you want to do that prior to you getting married anyway.
Absolutely.
Communication is the key, so sit down and have a talk about it.
All right, guys, so that's our take on it. Let us know what you think. Hopefully this helped you in some type of way. Be on the lookout for the newest and the next episodes. And I talked about earlier, we're going to be dealing with deal breakers, so that's going to be a juicy one. We'll talk to you guys later. See you.
Peace.